Good evening. Welcome to the Bidinators podcast. It is Wednesday, April 18th, April 18th, 2018. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Hey.
And Ryan's here.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
I'm alive.
How about that hockey game, Arthur?
It was great. It was fucking amazing. It was so good.
Yeah, my husband was pretty happy.
I got online and I started trolling hard after that one. So like it was good. It felt good. I felt like I personally won that hockey game. It was nice.
Just so you could troll.
Yeah, just so I could troll.
Okay, well, let's talk about this story because I always love these stories. Apparently, and I only just heard about this last week. I haven't been, living my life. Apparently, there's another apocalypse next April 23rd. That's what, Tuesday, Monday.
Okay, well, another thing to have anxiety over.
Yeah, this is how ridiculous it is. And literally, Fox News has reported this story. And so I expect British tabloids to, but Fox News Entertainment is running this story. They're saying what is going to happen is suddenly Planet X is going to appear in our sky.
Yeah.
That's on April 23rd. And then by October, it's going to be so close to Earth that it's going to trigger global volcanic eruptions due to its gravitational force. The only flaw in that is if Planet X was going to be in the sky on April 23rd, we would already see it.
Unfortunately. I've looked into this conspiracy for a while because I found it kind of fascinating at first. So the whole Planet X Nibiru kind of thing is, so our star is kind of an anomaly. The sun is a bit of an anomaly, right? Because it's a single star, where most stars exist in a binary system. So it was like fucking years ago, like hundreds of years ago, some guy said like it would make sense if we were also a part of a binary system with a brown dwarf that rotates around our sun. Now, brown dwarfs are stars that are about the size of Jupiter, but emit almost zero fucking light, like light that we would never be able to see, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is kind of cool. It's just when they tack on but because Jupiter and whatever other fucking planet's going to be in the path of fucking Sagittarius, and that means fucking Messiah. It's like, all right, bud, all right, your time at the fucking podium's done.
Well, I mean, look, they know that there's a planet out there somewhere beyond Pluto, just because of the way our planets orbit the sun and the wobble of the sun and all this.
It's the wobble of the sun. The wobble of the sun doesn't make sense with the pull of Saturn and Jupiter.
Yeah.
So there has to be another large body out there, which is another reason why people do think there's a brown dwarf out there.
But if a large body suddenly becomes rogue and gets out of its orbit and is coming towards us, that's going to affect us way before it is, as close as the moon. That's going to cause so many problems in our sky. Don't worry about that one, people. That's not happening. I can almost guarantee it.
The one theory I really enjoyed with the whole Nibiru Planet X thing was the thought of the Anunnaki coming with it. And I don't know if you know.
I haven't heard about the Anunnaki. I don't know what that is.
The ancient Sumerians, Mesopotamia,
okay.
known human civilization. That the Anunnaki were their gods, and it's. I mean, crackpot theories say that Planet X is the home of these people, and this star comes around every 400 some odd thousand years, like that's its rotation. And it lined up apparently. Well, I mean, of course it did, because they did fucking math that leaned towards their fucking hypothesis. But to me, this is one of those like tinfoil hat ones that I personally like, because I would be fucking stoked to know that we have another star.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fucking savage as shit, especially considering we can now look at what a brown dwarf is, because we haven't seen one. They're only theorized because they emit literally zero fucking light.
Yeah, you can't see them, so it can only be a theory until we can prove it.
Yeah, that's fucking savage. And fuck it, if the world ends, the world ends. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, really, why? You're going to be dead. Everything you know is going to be dead. Gone. See you fucking later.
Let me tell you, if Planet X appears in the sky on Monday, I'm going to eat so much junk food. Fuck this fucking healthy shit. Fuck this fucking diabetes and fucking blood pressure. I'm going to eat like mad.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Hermes, loot the shit out of them, and take all of the Birkins and walk around until I fucking die with Birkins on my hands.
That's not bad.
Fuck that.
That's not a bad end of the world, plan. I think I'm just going to get high on heroin Just, you know what I mean?
All the heroin.
Yeah, just fuck
you
it.
could try crocodile.
Like, exactly. Like, I've made it this
You're gonna
far.
die anyway. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm going to die anyway. Crack rock here.
Bath salts, all the really scary
Right?
ones, right? The new one that's out there they're saying is bad. I can't remember what it's called. Worse than fentanyl, apparently.
Really?
Something that's always worse than fentanyl. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
that's cool though.
I know.
And I do enjoy it because this is the second or third one of these Planet X things that have come up pretty much since 2012. I think a lot of crackpot people went real hard in the 2012 kind of stew, and you know they're just kind of bummed out that nothing fucking happened because you know calendars have never ran out at all. So I mean the minds were definitely predicting.
Did anybody else? I mean, as much as my rationale told me that nothing was going to happen, I did get a little scared on December 20th. I'll admit it.
I didn't at all.
No, me too. Yeah, me too. With 2012,
just
right?
A little.
I absolutely fucking did.
Yeah. No,
like I mean, here's the thing. I grew up, as you guys are very aware, I grew up Catholic, super Catholic actually, and so I actually have this. Just like I have, was it tyropophobia, whatever, the fear of holes. I have a fear of the world ending. And so this kind of conversation, if I was younger, I would have a panic attack over. And
really?
I just have this irrational, I have an irrational fear of the world ending. I don't know why, cannot begin to explain it, just am.
I have a theory. It's because you're a Catholic. You're raised Catholic, and you're scared to answer for all those bullshit Catholic fucking sins.
Excuse me, I am not a sinful person.
I'm not saying you are.
Sister Patty says you're going to heaven, Ryan.
Yeah, like all you got to do is say sorry.
That's true.
Well, that's the Catholic loophole, right?
Yeah, just say sorry, man. Like it's all good.
And you take Jesus into your heart and to accept God as your one true God. And it doesn't even have to be before you die. Your soul is allowed to do it when you meet God. So, gotta love the Catholics and the loopholes. In my heart right now.
I know, I love Catholics.
Okay, so let's talk about some more conspiracy theories.
Cool.
Our good friend, I don't even know what you want to call him, the fucking nut job Alex Jones.
Messiah?
Yeah, our Lord and Savior. The best thing, I guess the best spring present we could ever have is the Sandy Hook parents have said enough is enough, and they're suing him for defamation.
Good.
Over the false flag and that they're crisis actors and that their children never died. Two children's parents are suing them. They said they'd hope that he would stop and leave them alone. He hasn't.
Yeah.
So now they're suing him for defamation, and good. I hope he loses a lot of money over this.
Yeah, same here. I get a kick out of Alex Jones. I mean, I'm sure I've made that abundantly fucking clear, but that one's always rubbed me the wrong way, especially the fact how it's emboldened other people to get on people's personal fucking Facebooks and social media pages and saying that they're paid fucking crisis actors after,
they're getting death threats.
Yeah.
Their children have died and they're getting death threats.
Yeah, it's a little fucked up. Like that was one thing that I couldn't laugh at.
No. There's this meme, actually. I've seen a couple of my friends on Facebook, and I actually had huge arguments with them over this, about how at the Parkland shooting, the Sandy Hook, and then the other shooting at the other school, how this one girl is supposedly always there. Yeah. And I'm like, you guys are aware that this is fake, and it's been proven that it's fake.
Yeah, because
how do you know this?
You can't show evidence to somebody who's insane. They will not believe it.
That's it. But yeah, no, I've gotten in arguments over that too, because it's true, right? Like no other skinny brunettes exist anywhere except for one fucking place, right?
Arthur knows exactly
bitch,
which one,
right? The basic bitch. Let's come on.
Yeah, like the most common fucking look on earth. Yeah, no, definitely a crisis actor. Like fuck off. That to me was always my beef with this. Was the fact of how emboldened other fucking idiots got to go out and spew their idiot fucking garbage, especially again to people that have just suffered through a fucking tragedy. Yeah. It's disgusting, and I'm glad Alex Jones is going to get fucking sued.
Hopefully, I really hope he has to make a public apology on his station, on his show, so that his followers have to see that he is full of shit.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And they cannot willfully turn their ears away from that knowledge.
No, but I mean, he'll paint it in a way that the fucking Hillary shills fucking force him to do it, and then lizard people and shape-shifting Obama.
Lizard people threatened his family.
Yeah, like I know all the Alex Jones fucking twists and turns, and that's exactly how that conversation will go. Twisted Hillary, Obama, lizard
You haven't heard about the lizard people?
Oh my god.
No.
I remember seeing the video on YouTube that somebody had. There was one of the Secret Service guys was there at a speech for Obama.
Yep.
And some weird lighting hit him, and they're like, "Look, this is where his lizard face shifted into reality."
He shape shifts. Fuck's sakes. The same guy. I've seen so many conspiracies based off that same fucking dude because people are crackpots, and it's. I mean, again, to me, ever since I figured out like the greatness of the internet. Was when I figured out that I could go and read what fucking absolute batshit crazy fucking conspiracy theories say. So, yeah, Alex Jones was definitely one of the first ones that kind of broke me into the holy fucking shit. Like I need a tinfoil hat to be reading this right now. But it's just amazing. I love
lizard people.
Oh my god, I'm gonna send you some links on the lizard people, man. Like some of them can be kind of convincing.
Sister Patty says someone needs to educate Cynthia, and I'm like, she doesn't read the real news.
Yeah, exactly. She's a sheeple.
Maybe Cynthia's a lizard person, and she's trying to throw us off track.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You crazy bitch.
Oh, yes.
Cynthia Whitestone.
Yeah. Oh yes, me.
Yeah, working in cahoots with the fucking Illuminati.
Can't even keep her story straight, Cynthia. Jesus, come on. Lizard people have to be better than that.
Oh, fuck, the lizard people one's great. It's amazing. Like it is literally one of my favorite conspiracies out there.
Look, I have no problem if people want to troll you because of your sports team or your politics or vaccines or whatever. I'm trying to lose weight. Am I hot or not? Whatever, any of those things you deserve to be trolled for, right? But seriously, trolling or just harassing parents of murdered children, there's a special place, and I don't even know. I don't believe in hell, but some sort of horrible afterlife.
Yeah, no, it's true. We, as a society, we can't allow people to get away with that. I understand that he has the right to say it under the Constitution. That's a freedom of speech thing right there. That's where freedom of speech has that like mucky kind of area, right? Because the freedom of speech means you get xenophobia, you get racism, you get crackpot idiots just that have the right to say, no, your kid didn't really die. Your kid is a paid actor. And as disgusting of a statement as that is, you do have that right to fucking say it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like we have to, as a country, not to kind of bring this down, we have to as a country in the United States at least, really kind of just have to be careful about the law. Because sometimes I feel like it's so grayscale that it's almost too lenient. You know what I'm saying? It for me at times I'm like it's too lenient. Because yes, we're talking about the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms and all that stuff. And I'm not anti-gun. Actually, if anything, I'm kind of pro-gun. But we were talking about a time when people took, was it 2 minutes to refill a gun? Yeah. We're now at a point where a gun can fire 60 shots in like a second.
Yeah.
Things
That's
need
insane.
to be updated all the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sorry. Kind of wanted to say that.
It's the truth of society. We can't continue living with the status quo. The status quo is bullshit because the status quo will always shit on somebody or another. So we need to progress, right? Now, if changing an old dusty fucking piece of paper is the direction you need to change, then unfortunately, fuck your dusty old piece of paper.
Well, it's not like that paper's never been amended before.
Well, exactly. And it's not like the people that changed that little fucking, that little doozy of a fucking rule, like they didn't face any backlash either, right?
Yeah.
Hey, fuck's sake. But no.
But that applies to religion too for me.
Yeah.
This is going to be the first time I'm going to speak about religion the way I view religion. You know what I mean? Like we all have different views of religion on the show, and we never really clash. We just discuss. Yeah. My view on it is we're talking about a time, if this was, supposedly before the earth was even created by, God, things change. And if we don't adapt to what is the now, then it's going to die out. Like, let's be frank. There's more, what's the word? Like non-abiding, whatever, blah, 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 to a specific religion than you do people who view a specific religion.
They're not affiliated. So, there's a lot of people not affiliated with religion anymore, organized religion.
You're going to lose the scope of it.
Everything changes, and it has to change.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
even in regards to him talking his shit, it has to change. We have to, if we have to give up a little bit of liberty or freedoms or however the fuck you want to put it, in order to stop people from saying like completely abhorrent fucking things like that, then we have to give up a little bit. You know, I've said a few times now the difference between my freedom of self-expression and your freedom of speech. I have freedom of self-expression, but that does not include hate speech, and that's honestly how it should be.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
do I now give up my right to get in the streets and talk about how the fucking gypsies are taking over and whatever? Yeah, it absolutely does. But it probably fucking should. You know, like you have the right to think it. Like you have the right to think it, absolutely. But you do not have the right. Like no one has the right anymore.
Especially when it leads to real, truly innocent people being harassed and threatened. That's the scary part. You know, I mean, like we're not talking about bad people. And I'm not saying that bad people deserve to be harassed or whatever. You know, you get the law, you get judgment, whatever. These are truly innocent people that have done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And they're being harassed and are fearful of their life even.
Yeah, it's just fucking, it's disgusting how people would even allow someone to get away with that. Like,
Well,
it truly, honestly is.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, too, is like, you know, we all talk about the Constitution, at least for me. I talk about the Constitution constantly now. It's this, that, blah, 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 blah. We have to really just make amendments because we allow so much, especially now in the age of technology, you know, like on Facebook and stuff. I think Jacqueline even liked that little status I had, kind of me attacking a family member of mine, posting about vaccines being proven to be blah, blah, on this fake website. And I'm like, we're spreading fake. This is beyond opinion. This is becoming factual for some people.
And that's how it's become. We said that the other day. Your opinions, people and people's opinions and feelings are becoming fact, and that's a scary place to be.
Yeah. Well, can I actually piggyback off of that a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
I've been watching this these little clips because I don't have the time to watch the TV show. I'm not going to mention the TV show on here. And there was a great line said by a Republican that I really, really like. And that Republican specifically spoke about both parties, saying the problem is opinions are starting to become facts to people, and they're not. And I love that she said, I am not a journalist. I am a commentator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please distinguish between the two.
A lot of people are too dumb to understand that.
Yeah. And she's our age, Arthur. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I love that somebody around my age finally said something that's been baffling me for years. People think that because Sean Hannity, or you can sue me all you want, Sean Hannity, and all these other people.
His lawyer's going to jail. He's going to have to get a new one before he can sue you.
But you know what I mean? Like all these other pundits, these commentators, that's what you are. You're not a journalist, you're a commentator.
Yeah.
You're saying your opinion, you're not stating a fact. A fact is me saying Jacqueline is white. That's fact. She's white. But me saying
I'm a person of color.
But me saying that Jacqueline is maybe she's Pocahontas, it's not a fact, that's an opinion. We have to learn to distinguish between that. And that's starting to really fucking annoy me because people like Alex Jones, I think that's the guy that talks about phallic. There's that YouTube thing on him.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. That is definitely an Alex Jones.
if it's people are starting to believe this, and it's really disgusting because I then go to work and I have these crazy clients who sit with me and then say to me, I swear to God, this just happened a couple of weeks ago, are you an immigrant? And I looked at this person and I said, I'm sorry, what? Are you an immigrant? And of course I said, I don't really think that pertains to what we're doing.
Oh, you should put on like the worst accent and be like, oh, yes, I'm from another country.
Yeah, do you know any Filipino? Because you just start berating her in Filipino.
Well, no, but here's the worst part. It doesn't end there. They then stated, oh, you're probably Chinese.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it gets worse. And then said, you know what? I'd rather speak to somebody who is like...
Is like me?
Who's like me, meaning not an immigrant.
Like a white person?
You should have said
not.
like an idiot.
They were not.
like an idiot, like what? Like a future
like
Darwin
a racist old fuck.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my
it was,
God.
it was very upsetting, and because now they have these ideas because people have now ideas that what Bill O'Reilly was saying and what 45 was saying about immigrants being rapists and whatnot. Now they're thinking these are facts.
Yep.
And it's a very scary time to be anything but white right now. For me, at least.
It's trust me, it's not as easy being white right now than the world would have you think. There are a lot of fingers pointing at us Caucasians. I mean, hey, whatever. Like, is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck. But it's just a hard time for everybody because I think this is indicative of most times in history when we're enacting a real social change. You're gonna get a lot of finger pointing and a lot of misplaced anger, where you have. I mean, again, so you split to like haves and have-nots, right? Now, predominantly here in North America, white people, we've been the haves, right? I mean, our ancestors came over here, kicked the shit out of who was here.
Yeah.
Brought some people that were quote unquote fucking property with us and, created this fucking climate that we're currently
had them build our countries. Yeah.
Right. Now, the issue that I find personally with this type of stuff is when we do start to enact the social change, it's not even the backlash. It's with anything really. If you ever give anything that's never had power, any real power, or even equality, chances are it starts to get abused.
Yeah.
But also when you start stripping fucking power, people really want to hold on to that.
There's a pushback,
Exactly. There's a pushback and they start saying and fucking just doing completely horrible, disgusting fucking things. And I personally think that was what you experienced, Ryan. Maybe not have been like real, true, honest fucking like hate, you know what I mean? But just somebody who from a fucking bygone era that can't let go of the fact that young people don't base people off the color of their skin or where they're from or anything like that.
But it's but it's becoming like this trend. And it's something that I discussed with a coworker of mine, and I said it's just extremely upsetting that I'm having a conversation about this. In 2018, I'm going to be 28 in a few weeks. And we're having discussions about my ethnic background, my blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's inapplicable. First of all, you came to me, you needed help. I'm more than capable of helping you. I've got the licenses to prove it, but no problem. So I went ahead and they went and it became a whole ordeal. And for me, it's just, it's kind of just like what I was saying. We have to start to learn to protect people because some of these really outdated laws that we have are not working to the best of our abilities. You know what I'm saying? It's like we just did an amendment to make sure that all African Americans are included in that. Because before they weren't. It needs
updating. Too is, while we all know racism is still alive and kicking in 2018, the problem is while we're all distracted by that, rich corporations are getting richer and marginalized people and poor people are being even more marginalized and victimized. And that's where the real discrepancy is coming into the world. It's not if you're black, it's if you're poor.
Poor people will always get the shit end of the stick. Will always get the shit end of the stick, whether or not you're just economically poor or you're environmentally poor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a sad statement to make, but that's nature. And literally that is nature. That's not an excuse. That's just the fucking truth. I was saying about the lobsters not that long ago. There's inequality. There's inequality across species. It's not just a fucking human thing. It's not a white on black thing. It's not. It's species wide. Should we do something to curb inequality? Yeah, probably. I don't know a solution. I don't think that socialism's the correct solution. I don't think that taking shit that people worked their entire fucking lives over to give to people that didn't is the solution.
Absolutely not.
You know? So I don't know what we do.
What the real solution is.
You know what I mean? And I wouldn't even begin to formulate an opinion on what, like, as a fucking species we should do to curb inequality.
Yeah, because there's too much. There's more. It's beyond even just economics. There's
But
sociology. There's,
I think the best step we can make, though, in all honesty, to move forward is ignore any fucking law, moral commandment, anything like that that was made at a time where you were allowed to own a human fucking being.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's not a single fucking thought that realistically, and I mean, I'm even including Aristotle and Plato and shit like that in this list. You guys owned human beings. What you think and how you thought and how you seen the world, go fuck yourself. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't apply anymore.
I don't fucking care. It doesn't apply. We need to move forward.
But can I just say, just to even make it, because you said something about like, I hope we're not dwelling on this too long, Jacqueline, but
no, it's okay.
I've been seeing a lot of these ads, the Truth campaign I don't know if you guys get this in Canada, for the people to stop smoking or whatever.
No.
One thing that I've noticed is we take away accountability from people. First of all, yes, I agree. There are a lot more cigarette ads and stores that sell cigarettes in places that have higher poverty rates.
Yeah.
But we need to stop saying smoking is this, smoking. A lot of people who smoke, aka me, are very fucking aware of what the fuck can happen to you if you fucking keep smoking.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's getting really fucking annoying that we're taking away accountability from people. Hold the smokers accountable for their fucking smoking. Stop talking about this and stop talking about that. We already know it. Just fucking stop that and hold them accountable for smoking.
It's like smoking's a personal choice. There's no social, economical fucking choice to smoke. Like, you don't smoke because you're poor. Like, I mean, literally, you can't fucking smoke if you're poor. So, like, you can't
pick cigarette butts off the ground.
Yeah, I guess that's not smoking. That's a level of desperation I don't ever want to fucking
listen. Until you get there, you don't know the feeling.
Yeah.
But
it's true.
It's just, we take away accountability from people. It's like, part of it is that we're like, for example, Jodi Arias, who allegedly committed this murder or whatever.
That's not alleged. She was found guilty. She did it.
Okay, she was found guilty, but like, we tried to do it. Hold them accountable for their actions. It's something that I was taught at a young age. Be accountable for what you did. If you hit somebody back, you are accountable for hitting them back. Just like when I light up my cigarette in the next 30 seconds and my pack of cigarettes from the Philippines says may cause gangrene, I am aware that it can cause gangrene.
Look at some bad cigarettes that are causing gangrene.
Yeah,
no, but like, it has these very vivid like pictures and stuff, and that's great and all. But you're taking away the accountability from me because to me it's like I'm aware that I can get cancer. I've spoken to you guys off air about my breathing problems lately. I'm aware of what smoking can do, but it's just like I feel that this generation, the younger ones, the millennials, we're having accountability be taken away from us because of things like this. You know what I mean? Like, we're constantly trying to rescue.
But you can't blame that on that generation, because really it's my generation or my parents' generation that forced these labels, forced the suing of cigarette companies.
That also coddled all us millennials and gave us participation awards and shit.
You gotta kind of blame my generation and my parents' generation.
Shielded all of us away from any type of adversity in our lives so that we understand how to act in a fucking correct manner and in a way that's respectful and gracious and defeat. Yeah,
it's just so dumb. For me, it's so dumb because I feel like a lot of things, and maybe this is what I should say. A lot of the things I find, for me, is common sense. Yeah. But then again, like Jacqueline always says, common sense isn't that common.
It's not that common. Well, common sense all depends on the angle you're looking at it, right? Like, something's common sense from you and me could be completely alien to someone else. So it's kind of a hard thing to like quantify, but I get what you're saying.
But you're right. I do agree that we're not raising our children with accountability, because we're raising our children, and I think I don't know why it's like this, because you think about it, like, as a parent, right? I'm like a ferocious mama bear. I will protect my cubs. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people do. But I think they're going a little too far. Like, when my kid gets in trouble, I listen to the story and I'm like, you know what? That sounds like my kid. I know he did that. right? Whereas I think sometimes parents are like, that couldn't be my child, even though, little Jimmy's an asshole and he probably 100% did that.
I was out behind the portable smoking cigarettes with little Jimmy all day. Like, I don't know what the fuck that bitch is off about.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think sometimes people are, I don't know whether they're blind to their own children or whether they just don't want their kids to be perceived that way. So they'll just protect them at any cost and don't make them accountable.
A lot of people just do that. And it angers me because I've always been held. My parents will crucify the shit out of me if I did something that was not kosher. Jacqueline is very aware of this. I have constant conversations with Jacqueline about my personal life. So for me, it's like, I don't know what it's like to not be held accountable for my actions. Yeah. So when somebody does that and I see where they went wrong, I'm like, you should be held accountable for where you went wrong.
Yeah.
Because you can't put all the blame on me.
Well, you're right. Smoking. And I mean, even if you're 12 and you start smoking for the first time, by 12, in this day and age, that smoking is bad for you. My dad's generation, no, they didn't know that shit was hidden from them, right? But even by the time I got to 12 in the 80s, I knew that smoking was bad for you.
It was bad for you, yeah.
When your father was 12, they were marketing cigarettes as a fucking cure-all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cigarettes cured the cancer.
Smoking on TV, and exactly.
It's just fucked.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's true. I don't want to just blame every fucking parent out there, but it does seem like, I mean, at least on that end of the spectrum with the accountability, a lot of it has been stripped away from the kids. Like, they're just not held accountable.
Yeah.
There's a plethora of excuses as to why my child acts this way.
Let me tell you this story that happened yesterday. So I have a customer who comes in fairly regularly. I've never seen her older son. I've only heard about him. I've seen her younger son. So she had her younger son there, and she sent him off to get something. She goes, "Do you ever just hate your own kid?" And I'm like, "Whoa, that's harsh." I'm like, "Well, teenage years are hard.
Oh, yeah.
They don't make it easy to love them." And she said on the weekend when it was the ice storm, she'd given her son $10, and he was staying at his grandfather's house. And she shops for her father, so I think he has mobility issues, and I think he has a little bit of dementia. She gave him the $10. She was supposed to go to the pizza or whatever and get a cheese pizza. Instead, he went out and got himself a hot dog, French fries, pop, and came home and made white rice for his grandfather. And so she was really mad that was such a scumbag thing to do.
Absolutely.
But what she did was then she proceeded to buy him everything he wanted. Buns for his lunch. He wanted this special luncheon meat. He wanted rice crackers. He wanted pop. And she bought every single thing. And I'm at the point where I'm like, this is why your kid's a dick.
Yep. Well, what's easier? Yeah. What's easier to just give in? You know what I mean? Or actually discipline your fucking child. Because, again, let's not forget that if you discipline your child, not only will you probably get fucking prosecuted criminally, but you'll also be a pariah in the court of public opinion. Because disciplining your fucking children is a huge no-no. But people still want to bitch about fucking millennials and generation fucking Y or Z, whatever the fuck they are. You know what I mean? It's the truth. I mean, I brought up that story about watching my friend's daughter fucking haul off and try to smack her fucking mom. And the kid was only threatened with a timeout, very weakly at that. Fuck that shit. Now, I'm sorry your kid's bright, and I mean, she might have a bright future ahead of her, but that's going to fucking lead to some issues later on. Like, that's going to lead to some fucking shit, and it's going to embarrass you fucking down the road. But, I mean, again, what do I know? I'm not a parent.
Well, but it's also like, for example, I have the coworker that I was telling you guys about yesterday. No, on Monday, rather. On Monday show. And how do I say this without being too obvious? She will constantly say, I want to do everything and give them everything that I can. But
that's what every parent wants, but you still have to be realistic.
Realistic about everything. And yet, you're not putting away money for their college funds. Instead, what you're doing is you're buying them little treats, like a cute little bunny bag or a cute little outfit and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You're not actually, for me, if I was a parent, and thank God I'm not, I think I would be more worried about what the future would hold than what they would look good in and
Yeah.
they'll outgrow in 10 minutes.
Well, that's it. People focus on some, you know, like, oh, these Instagram model kids and stuff like that.
Of course.
I'd go straight fucking like stereotypical Asian parent if I had a fucking kid. Like it's nothing
be a
but
tiger
7
dad.
hours of fucking math a day. Like I don't give a fuck.
And then you get to play the piano or the violin.
You better speak 4 fucking languages by the time you're 8. Like I don't give a shit, you little bastard. You were doing things. Like, but yeah, no. Fuck everything and fuck everyone.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. That's kind of an interesting conversation. I liked that. But this is a weird story for me. So there's this Vancouver Island couple. They discovered a little while ago that there's a 28-year-old man who's been talking to their 13-year-old daughter on, I don't know, on a website, online, messaging or whatever.
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, there we go. That's where they met her. And they told her, you know, don't talk to him anymore. And I guess they contacted the police at the time. The police said there really wasn't anything they could do about it, and they didn't even investigate it, is what the story said. So what they did is, I guess they saw he was still messaging her and he wanted to come to the house, so they basically took the phone and said, yeah, come on over. When he showed up, they tackled him to the floor and zip tied him and called the police. Because basically he was coming there to fuck their daughter. That's literally what the story says. And yeah, he was coming there to have sex with their 13-year-old daughter. He hasn't been charged, and I don't think they can charge him with anything, because when you skirt the laws like this, and this is the scary thing, in my opinion, he should be charged. He came to the house. They have the cell phone information. He was coming there for sex.
No, that's...
You know, this isn't creep catchers. Like creep catchers, I'm kind of like, you know what, you're making it harder in the long run.
Yeah, I don't like what most of that stuff does. I really don't.
The intent was there, and they have proof. And I think this guy should have been charged with something. It's ridiculous.
I'm honestly willing to bet that the issue that they're having is the citizen's arrest that the parents put on him, and they're probably going to look into some form of entrapment. Which is kind of bullshit, because the parents never entrapped him. He did it himself. He asked for sex. They might have said, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see the text
come on
messages.
over or something.
You know what I mean? Like, in all honesty, as far as I know, and even in regards to the police and entrapment, as long as they don't say, like, as long as the parents didn't say, like, I am insert daughter's name, come over and fuck me, then they didn't do anything wrong. But at that same point, though, if that's what happened, then this guy actually has a case of saying, well, I was invited over for consensual sex with the adult that was answering said phone. I might have thought it was a fucking kid, and that's disgusting, and it should be, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make excuses, but the whole charges haven't been laid. That's what it made me
problem with like creep catchers, right? Because they're not following the laws, and when they're not willing to hand over their phones for evidence and stuff, then you can't charge these guys. But it's very upsetting to me that she was getting sexually explicit messages 6 weeks prior, and the police did nothing then either. They just said block the man and forget it. Are you kidding me?
Well, again, it's the internet, right? Like it's a weird thing, because
they should at least be sending messages to this guy going, look, perv, you're on our radar now.
Yeah, but it wouldn't stop him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm sorry, if someone's fucking brazen enough to fucking try to have sex with a fucking child, like, I highly doubt.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, I doubt they're scared by fucking much. I mean, because if the thought of literally getting raped to death in prison isn't terrifying enough to, ward you away from that style of life, then nothing's fucking scary to you. You know what I mean?
Well, they did say that there was a child luring investigation opened in March. This is what the RCMP are saying. And this is the quote. The police had directed her not to take matters into her own hand. They do have an active and ongoing investigation. And she said that vigilante actions are not only illegal, they also put people in danger and have the potential to compromise the original investigation, which is, what creep catchers do. And the parents may now be charged with assault, causing bodily harm, and forcible confinement.
Oh, that's kind of fucked.
That's the weird things about the laws here in Canada. I mean, we are in realistically no circumstances allowed to fucking harm somebody. Even if you came into my house, broke into my fucking house, I'm not allowed to defend myself. Like I'm allowed to defend myself to a point. Like I can,
but not beyond the amount that you're being attacked.
Yeah.
Right.
Even at that point. So even let's say you had a gun and I get that gun off of you. I'm not under no fucking circumstance
kill
can I
them.
use that gun or a knife or anything like that. Even if you came into my house with a gun and I fucking smashed you in the skull with a baseball bat, not killing you, just hurting you, I would go to jail.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though,
God.
because of these laws, it changed our national attitude towards like violence and shit like that. It's why we don't, at least for me personally, this is how I look at it myself, and this is why here in Canada we don't have the rate of violent crimes that happen elsewhere in the world, where you do have these laws that allow you to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It just emboldens you. It changes your attitude towards stuff.
There's not. I mean, people's houses get broken into all the time.
All the time.
But there's not a ton of like what do you call those home invasions?
Home invasions.
Yeah, there's not a ton of those happening. And I mean, even when somebody breaks into your house, most times if you're there, you're scaring them away. They're not coming in and they're not, oh, you saw me, now I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that was one thing I seen a quote from the father in that article. He said, "What? I can't defend my daughter in my own house?" Well, no, you can't, because you actually weren't defending her. You were actually being the aggressor in this scenario.
Situation.
And again, according to Canadian law, it's illegal. You know, this was why I was so into the Colton Boushie case that happened not that long ago in Saskatchewan, because it was the first time that I've ever heard of in Canadian history where somebody murdered someone for trying to steal something off their property, and then they didn't get charged with second-degree murder.
Well, they got away with it, yeah.
Yeah, right. Which to me is absolutely abhorrent.
He's
like,
getting charged with a gun crime, some sort of gun crime. I saw that the other day.
Yeah, shooting off the gun within urban boundaries or some shit like that. It's probably like fucking 6 months community service. But you know, which for me is, you know, preferable. Like I enjoy the fact of knowing that, you know, just because the fact that we're not violent for the most part, that even if on the odd chance someone does come into my house, I'm not going to get shot. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about being fucking tied up and have a ball gag and then watch some dickhead fucking force me to watch him rape my old lady at gunpoint. I don't have to worry about that shit here. Yeah. That's a real fucking scenario. Else, you know, in places not too far away from me. Look,
even if somebody breaks into your house and steals your TV or whatever, they're fucking scumbags. Yeah. Do they deserve to be shot over it?
No. In order to get me to murder someone, it would take a lot. Like, and I mean a fucking
like a rape,
lot.
A rape of somebody in my family. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I'm going to shoot somebody over.
Only if I walked in and seen it. I wouldn't go out looking for retribution.
No. I don't condone that at all. No. Yeah, if I came home or, you know, someone was doing that, then I would, you know, try to defend my family as best I could. Yeah.
I've had this conversation actually about self-defense with.
Sorry for the snoring, by the way.
Oh.
I thought that was something else. The conversation I had with somebody about that is, let me put this into perspective. If I don't agree with the death penalty, I don't necessarily agree with somebody being able to shoot. Like, for example, and I'm not excusing this, but this is just a real scenario. You're super drunk. You end up going into the wrong house. Because drunk people do irrational things.
Robert Downey Jr.
Somebody's shooting. Yeah, well, there you go. Somebody's shooting you for that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I did that not that long ago. I was stumbling home from one of my cousin's house to my mom's house, piss-loaded drunk, and I walked in the house. It was two houses down. But again, because national attitudes here about personal safety and shit, I didn't fucking eat a shotgun shell to the chest.
I had a drunk lady do that at Malaga. Came into the house, down the stairs, into the basement, opened the door, and scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, no doubt. But again, you know, no chance of that person dying that day.
Think about it from the point of view. What if you were getting chased by somebody and you were just trying to find shelter and you ran into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you bang on somebody's door for help and now they've come at you with a gun because you're scaring them by pounding on the door in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Well, that and you're trespassing and they have every legal
That just happened last week to the boy who went to now, I haven't read details into the story, but the story of the boy who went to the door and knocked on the door because he couldn't find his school. Maybe he was new to the area. I don't know why he was looking for a school. And somebody shot at him. Now, he didn't get shot, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But he was shot at. 13-year-old boy asking for directions.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I think a lot of that just has to do with public fear. You know what I mean? Like, and that truly is what it is. When you do look at the countries with the highest gun rates, a lot of it is because the citizens are fucking scared, and that you know, just overwhelming stink of fucking fear causes people to do really irrational things.
Yeah.
And
Irrational
anything that
things,
goes bump in the night, well, guess what? It's getting fucking 7 rounds going its way.
Yeah.
You know?
Or
Sorry,
60 if you've
Fluffy.
got a newsie.
Sorry, Fluffy, you went to the wrong window tonight.
Right? Like it's upsetting because
Yeah.
it just it creates such a reactionary,
Yeah.
you know, kind of society.
But that's the problem, is that we're too reactionary.
Oh fuck yeah.
It goes back to that whole accountability thing. We take away from people this because I think part of this is that we've taken away critical thinking, creative thinking from schools, and so a lot of people now follow textbook shit.
Yeah.
And so everything to them is, if it's not in a book, it doesn't make any sense. If it doesn't have a manual, it doesn't make sense. Well, you know what? I was always taught that if you could think for yourself, you'd probably fucking survive. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just, how do I say this? Like, you put it into perspective nowadays. Can't get a decent job if you don't have a bachelor's degree, half the time. So a lot of these people think, oh, I got my shiny little bachelor. Not that I'm dissuading from school. You should absolutely go to school. You know, I got my bachelor's. I can get blah, blah, blah. Where are they? Working at McDonald's, working at Subway, doing this, doing that. And it's like, not everything that you know comes from a book. Not everything that you are going to do applies to your book. I said this to a person who had graduated from nursing school, who's doing very well now in their life. I remember I said to them, "Oh, great, you graduated on top of your class," because that gets to be your thing once you go to actual do the reality of being a nurse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's life doesn't work this way. So because we took that away, I think a lot of people are just like, shoot, boom, there you go. That's not critical thinking. You didn't think first. Maybe ask a question. Maybe say, are you okay? What's going on? What are you doing in my house? No, let's just shoot.
Well, whatever happened to, I've got a gun, what do you want? Or get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, that would be, I would hope, if I owned a gun and somebody came into my house, I would say, I have a gun, you better leave here. Instead of just firing, like Arthur said, 7 shots randomly into the dark room, you know?
It doesn't even have to do with the gun. In my personal opinion, it really doesn't. It has to do
with the person.
Well, law. When you tell people that they have the right to end someone's life in self-defense.
Just because they walk into your living room.
You know what I mean? That means that somebody out there, because again, we're not all rational thinkers. We're not all great under stress, you know? They're gonna do something.
That's a good way to keep the Jehovah's away.
God fucking say. But it doesn't. I mean, is there not Jehovah's in the States? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so if the place in the Western world where you're allowed to murder people for stepping on your fucking porch and the Jehovah's still show up, they got balls of fucking steel.
Fuck, they
balls of steel. But I mean, they got the Lord on their side, so what the fuck they care? The bullets just past their fucking head anyway.
Oh my God, Arthur.
Okay, so let's talk about our final story before we run out of time. The story came out of Nova Scotia, Cape Breton Regional Hospital. A woman was in there in the waiting room at the hospital breastfeeding her 10-month-old child. 5 to 10 minutes after, into the breastfeeding, she saw a man who was sitting across from her filming her on his phone.
What?
I ain't gonna say what he was doing is right, but if you're gonna breastfeed in public, be prepared that you might encounter a voyeur. That's all I gotta say about that.
That's sick, but you know what? No. So she went to security and nothing was done to help her.
Yeah. Well, they can't remove someone from the hospital.
No, I know, but like, put your phone away, sir?
Yeah, I mean that. Well, even that, I don't think you're even allowed to say that to people anymore.
Breastfeeding is
natural.
Okay. It is natural, and we shouldn't care about it, and we shouldn't, force women into the bathroom to feed their babies.
No.
Agreed.
I never did myself because I was too uncomfortable to do it. I breastfed, in a different room, or I had a towel over me. But the audacity of this man to record her like that, and like nothing can be done. Like, that's fucking sick, buddy. If he was filming upskirt, because like if I was sitting there and I forgot to wear my panties that day and I was wearing a dress and my vagina was hanging out, is that okay for him to film because it's like out in public? Voyeurism
isn't okay, but it's not against the law, and that's the bullshit part about this.
But he shouldn't be allowed to record her in a that's not even a public place.
In a hospital, no, you're correct. That he was breaking some rules there. But I mean, again, like it as unfortunate as it is, and I do not agree with him filming this lady. I don't.
Yeah.
If you whip out a breast in public, even to feed your child, even to do one of the most natural fucking things that human beings have ever known, be prepared to encounter some voyeurs.
What kind of desperate loser gets off on it? Like, I mean, like, you're not 13. You get off on a baby eating. You don't even see any nipple. You just see a little bit of round boob. Jesus.
The first time I ever went down to the Dominican, I personally was taken aback by the freedom that European women have with their breasts. Yeah. They don't give a fuck. And what really shocked me was the amount of voyeurs. Men, and I mean grown fucking men, like easily in their 50s, that would walk around and take point blank pictures of these women's breasts. And these women didn't give a shit, didn't give a fuck about it. Now, later on, partying and getting to talk to people, I brought it up to these Swedish people that I met, and they said it comes with the territory. If you're going to whip out a part of the body that people find sexually attractive and it's in public, you have to, it's just one of those fucking gross things about human beings. It really is. And I can't excuse this man because it's fucked up. She's in a hospital. You know what I mean? Have some tact, but you whip out a breast in public, I mean, people are going to look. You know,
that's a very good point, though, Arthur, because I actually have, again, here comes my irrational fears. I have an irrational fear of public bathrooms because I always think that there's freaking, cameras and stuff in it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's a pub. Granted, they're not supposed to record you in bathrooms.
Yeah.
But don't do that, people. But especially not to me. But the thing is, it's like this is happening in public. Like, you can't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of understand Arthur's point. Not kind of. I kind of completely understand Arthur's point on this, because you can't stop somebody from, like, that's okay. For example, there's no phone. What if she felt violated because she was being gawked at? Well,
she did. She literally says she feels violated.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's take the phone away. Here's my point. Let's take the phone away for a second and focus on the fact that, let's say she was being watched. We can't tell that person leave because you're watching her. Well, we can't do that because I'm sorry, you kind of really are doing this in public.
See, this is where she and I differed, because if I was breastfeeding or even if I was being filmed, whether I was just sitting there reading a newspaper and somebody was filming me and I caught them, we're gonna have a fight and I'm gonna have a charge.
I would have squirted titty milk at them.
He probably wouldn't fucking jerked off at the thought of it.
Yeah, but then they could have kicked him out. If he whipped out his dick and started doing something sexual, then that's cause to remove someone from a fucking hospital or strap him to a chair. Oh, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I understand that what I was saying kind of sounds like I was defending it.
Yeah.
I get your point. No, you're not.
Like, I'm not defending the guy. It's disgusting. But, I mean, it's just, it's like the women that went topless for the slut walk. The first time the slut walk and there was a lot of bitching about the voyeurs being there, and it's like, well, you have your breasts out. As much as I understand what you're trying to do, kind of desexualizing the female breast, and I respect that, I still like titties, and I'm gonna look at your titties. You whip them out so I can fucking look at them, and then wrote "slut" on your chest. The fuck do you want from me?
What's it say? I gotta look closer.
You know what I mean? The fuck do you want from me?
Yeah.
You can't be playing
I never
games
understood
with my
the
heart.
topless protesting to, like, affirm women's rights. That never kind of meshed in my mind.
I mean, you're making men pay attention. Like, so now we're actually going to sit down and hear what you have to fucking say, because there's boobs involved.
Part of it is, if we constantly defend, I feel like Arthur, the last 5 minutes of Monday, if we constantly defend people because of, I feel uncomfortable, it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, oh my God. Like,
this is what women are fighting for.
Yeah.
Women are fighting.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm broadening this. I'm taking away from the general aspect of her situation or the specific thing and making this general, because there have been instances, and this is weird. She was wearing like a mesh top with like a bralette, right? The whole fashion thing now. And nothing really was showing, but her nipples were hard, and you can completely tell. And I'll never forget, this was actually a friend of mine. I feel so uncomfortable with these guys. You're looking at me. I'm like, girl, and I said this out loud, so she was very aware. I said, girl, half your titty is out.
Straight up.
Come on.
Like, you know,
I'm sorry.
You know that we're gonna look. I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I understand that it is bad taste for any male to sexualize any female, especially without her consent over it. I get that. That's the world we live in now. Is what it is. But you're telling me to undo a million years of fucking evolution? You know what I mean? In all fucking honesty, over a million years of me fucking getting to the point where I find the female form attractive. Now I'm some kind of fucking pervert.
Well, I mean, you look at these African tribes and women have their boobies all hanging out and nobody cares.
But it's funny.
I'm gonna fucking keep staring.
It's funny again how in fucking Puritan fucking North America, where we are the freest fucking people in the world, where a fucking tit can cause this much fucking bullshit. You know what I mean?
Bullshit,
like, we are the freest fucking place in the entire world, but somebody whips out a fucking boob and we lose our fucking minds on either end of the spectrum. It's a fucking tit. It's a tit. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to, clap if you got nice ones. I'm going to move on with my fucking life. Like, it's only a boob.
Well, but part of it is, like, especially if you come from, like, a very quiet country, to you, this is, like, a big deal. But if, for me, seeing a tit is not a big deal. Especially because I was desensitized from that, especially by my mom. I kind of just want to defend myself a little bit, though. I'm not excusing people who are like, oh my god, she's wearing a slutty skirt, let me rape her. That's not my point. My point is, though, if you're going to kind of expose yourself, like for me, I have these very, very poom-poom-esque shorts that I wear in the summertime back when I was skinny size. But I'm walking the streets, exactly. And I've had a few instances where men would be like, or make a comment or even gawk. I have to accept that is going to be the situation because I'm wearing shorts that are way too short for anybody to be wearing, man or woman. So
if you got ass cheek hanging out and I'm staring at your ass cheek, then I mean, you know what you're doing. You wore those for a reason. You wanted me to look at your ass cheeks. Like, I get it. It's cool. I mean, now breastfeeding is completely different. It's not. It should not be sexualized. It should not be sexualized. Unfortunately, ladies, it is, and it's actually a really huge fetish. So you're gonna encounter this shit. And
this guy just creeps around hospitals waiting to film.
Voyeurism is it's fucking weird, but it's actually very, very, very prevalent in our country. Surprisingly. In Quebec, it's fucking huge. Like, it's insane. The amount of,
so what you're saying is I should not rent an Airbnb in Quebec.
Well, if you do, just close your curtains when you change.
Or maybe there's like a hidden camera somewhere in the light fixtures.
From what I've seen of the voyeurs in and around Quebec, most of them are roof-toppers. They just hang out on roofs and film into people's apartments.
Basically, I'm going to go to Quebec and I'm going to have all these men look at my titties and be like, okay, go ahead, look. See, I'm the kind of person, my response, kind of like what Arthur said, I would probably squirt titty milk over.
Yeah,
like, I don't give a shit. I just don't care.
But she would have been like charged with like assaulting somebody's bodily fluids.
It's the same with like, and it's funny as fuck to me because you can always tell when you meet an American abroad. And you know how you can tell? Because they're so fucking scared at the goddamn urinal. They have to go 3 fucking urinals away from you because they're so scared of, hey, you getting their dick or them getting a glimpse of your dick. Guess what, idiot? I have one of my own. I can look at it all I want. Why the fuck do I want to see yours?
No,
you want to look at mine? Look at it all you fucking want.
Gay trying to get them.
You know what I mean, though? Like, it's just so funny to me, the insecurity we have over, like, I'm taking a piss. I don't give a fuck. Stare all you want. Drool. I don't care. Like, I'm here to pee.
But can I say this, though? Part of that is, like, for me, I have a fear of public bathrooms. Something had happened to me in a public bathroom when I was very young.
Yeah.
And I don't use urinals. I go into the stall. To protect myself a little bit more, I go into the stall.
All right.
I will say that. So you have to just find a little bit of a way.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I don't give a shit. You want to look at it? Look at it. I see it a million times. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, it's my dick. I see it constantly. You want to fucking peek? Take a peek, bud.
What if they got out their cell phone camera?
Wicked. Awesome. Don't give a shit. Like, it's a dick. Like, it's seriously, I mean, it's
I love dicks.
The whole thing with this story is the fact that he's sexualizing this woman in a fucking vulnerable place like a hospital while she's doing something completely natural. That's immoral. It's wrong. But again, you whip out a tit in public, chances are someone's going to fucking look, take a sneaky cell phone fucking picture. I mean, it happens.
She wasn't even aware, to be honest. It was somebody else who saw him recording it.
Which is nice. It's great that somebody fucking seen it and called this guy out saying, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
fucking disgusting.
You know what I mean? And I'll say this to anybody, you ever see someone doing that, call them out. Like, please, like, do the rest of us a fucking favor and be like, hey, man, how about not being a complete fucking pervert? You know, like, take your fucking glimpse and keep on walking. Like, just, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, she's not out for blood. I will say this. Yeah. She was given a verbal apology from the hospital, and she says she doesn't want anybody to be fired. She just, wants some more sensitivity training, which, is understandable.
Yeah. Everything that I read in the story, I mean, like, I kind of like this lady's approach to it. Like, she's not, I mean, I understand her feeling violated. I truly, honestly do.
Yeah.
I mean, that you're in a vulnerable position, but it's just kind of the nature of the fucking world. I mean, perverts are real. I mean, that the term pervert didn't spew up out of nowhere. It's not like it's some unwarranted fucking, stereotype. Like, it's true. Like, perverts are real. I've encountered them as a fucking kid and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's part of life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, right? People's kinks and their fetishes and their,
it's insane.
I just don't get. I don't know. To stare at somebody else like breastfeed.
No,
I can see if it was your wife and you're like, damn, that was my boob and I want it back.
Yeah.
Give me back my boob, baby. A little
bit of titty envy. No, I mean, I get it. Like, I'm actually very sympathetic towards what happened to this lady. Like, I truly am. Like, that sucks. And
I get people. Look, I remember we were out for Christmas dinner years before I even had. Maybe I had Logan by then. And we were walking through the restaurant and there was a lady breastfeeding at the table and Scott said, is she on tap? Like.
Yeah, fucking right. It's just what we do. I mean, guys like boobs. We like boobs. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to apologize
for it. In general. Like, when I'm at the the swimming pool and people are walking around naked, I'm like, holy cow, well, the Asian lady boobs.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see their muff. They always got their muffs hanging out. Ryan, why do old Asian ladies always want to be naked at the showers?
Did we lose him?
I guess he's gone.
Oh, he's muted.
He'll never answer the question for me.
No, it's and I kind of feel like along the same lines as a gym in this kind of scenario where it's the same as a gym. You do not take photos of somebody at a fucking gym.
No.
You don't do that, or at a public pool. Like, you don't do that kind of stuff. That is absolutely fucking immoral. Like, that is not something.
Yeah, like that Playboy bunny that got in big trouble for it last year.
Well, that was even worse because of the fucking body shaming of that.
Yeah.
And I'm not really into the whole fucking, you don't body shame kind of stuff. Like,
someone's at the gym trying to get themselves better and you're making fun of them.
Yeah, right? Like, go fuck yourself. Like, you're
an asshole.
You take your clothes off for money. Who fucking cares what you think?
Yeah. So we'll end it on that happy note.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself. Take your clothes off for money.
Have a good week, and we'll be back on Monday at our regular time. And go Leafs, go Raptors.
Go Leafs, go. Yeah, let's go Raps.
Okay, bye.
Fuck the Bruins.